Hey everybody, so some pretty sad news happened this week, this week as of recording, and that is Peter David, the writer of many Marvel comics, especially The Incredible Hulk, as you all know. He wrote a 12-year stint on that character. He unfortunately died from, you know, some illnesses, some ailments and whatnot, and he couldn't really get the healthcare for it, so yeah, it's a pretty sad thing to happen for such an amazing writer as one as Peter David. And today, this video, I kind of just wanted to talk about some of his creations and some of his comics, and just kind of like give this video as an ode to him because without him, I probably wouldn't be reading as many Hulk comics as I have today. Like, I probably wouldn't appreciate as many comics and as many characters that I do now because of him. He's definitely a creative talent that I definitely looked up to for a very long time, and I still do, even after his death. And I also kind of want to talk about like how Marvel basically kind of fucks over their writers a lot. Like it's pretty well known that Marvel and their creators aren't they aren't usually good to the creators at all. Like we have like classic examples like Jack Kirby and the co-creator of the Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk, or like Steve Ditko, the co-creator of Spider-Man. They basically gave them shit, and they never really gave them the name that they deserve. And you could kind of also blame that on Stan Lee a little bit. He was kind of like the big dog, the big wig there, and he kind of took all the credit, unfortunately. But like, it does suck that those two creators, who it helped make a lot of of Marvel characters and help like create a lot of their mythology, just kind of got left behind, unfortunately, and were basically died in poverty. Especially like Steve Ditko, who definitely like died like a hermit in New York, basically, unfortunately. And and they kind of really haven't changed since then. Like, Peter David needed a fucking GoFundMe, a GoFundMe, so he could pay his medical bills. Like, this guy possibly gave like Marvel millions upon millions of dollars with with his creations and his writings. Like, we wouldn't have like the modern Hulk we have today without Peter David. We wouldn't have the Immortal Hulk. Like, his comics, other him and like Bill Mantle obviously, but like his comics, especially his run on the Hulk, we wouldn't have like great runs like Al Ewing's The Immortal Hulk without we wouldn't have that without Peter David, which is crazy to say, but it's true. We wouldn't have characters like Joe Fixit or Spider-Man 2099 without Peter David. Like, he co-created Spider-Man 2099, which is crazy to say, but it's true. Like, without him, we wouldn't have like the Spider-Verse movies, most likely, because he created Spider-Man 2099, and Across the Spider-Verse had Spider-Man 2099 and gave like Marvel so much money from that, and Sony, of course. And yet this guy basically fucking died with little to no money, because and having to use a GoFundMe because Marvel wouldn't pay their creators, wouldn't pay any of their writers like a good sum of money for that, which is fucking insane. But, let's not get mad anymore. This is a good ode. So let's talk about some of his, creations and his writings. And, of course, we can't really talk about his writings without having to talk about The Incredible Hulk, as I said before. His run on The Incredible Hulk is fucking awesome. Like, it's genuinely really, really fucking good. And, I guess Marvel knew that because he got to write the character for nearly 12 years, nearly 13 years, over a decade, basically. And without him, we wouldn't have Joe Fixit, we wouldn't have the Maestro, we wouldn't have the Professor Hulk, even though a lot of people do not like the Professor Hulk thanks to the MCU, but I'm telling you, the Professor Hulk is really fucking good. He is an incredible character and was written amazingly by Peter David, but like, yeah, we wouldn't have any of those characters. He also had apparently a really good stint on Aquaman. Now, he's a reason why Aquaman during the 90s had like the hook for a hand and a beard and stuff like that. He basically was the reason why Aquaman was cool after the whole like 70s shtick of him just being a guy who like talked to fish a little bit. Like, he was the one who made Aquaman cool again. So without him, we wouldn't have like cool Aquaman. I guess we wouldn't have Jason Momoa Aquaman, even though he's not Aquaman. He's basically just Jason Momoa playing Jason Momoa, but that's a whole nother thing for another day. And apparently also he wrote a pretty good stint on X Factor 2. He also like wrote like the first gay character relationship in Marvel. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, that's pretty cool. So yeah, he wrote a lot of good characters and a lot of good stories. And of course, as I said before, he co-created Spider-Man 2099 when Marvel launched its 2099 initiative. And of course, we all know who Spider-Man 2099 is, thanks to things like, Spider-Man Edge of Time, or Across the Spider-Verse, or just all of his appearances in, like, cartoons and video games and whatnot. Like, he's possibly other than Miles, he's possibly one of the most well-liked and well-loved, Spider-Man characters, or, like, Spider-Man variant that's out there, thanks to his run on Spider-Man 2099. And it's for a good reason. Like, when it comes to his writing, he knows how to, like, write characters, how to write drama really well, and also action. When it came to his Incredible Hulk run, which I'm still reading, I actually owned this entire run, and, like, the omnibuses that Marvel had put out over the last couple years. The guy can just seamlessly, like, write both comedy, drama, action, horror, any of those sort of stuff. He can write it in the same comic and it still makes sense. He knows how to write that sort of stuff, and it's always really fucking good. Like, I'm just recently finishing up the first volume of his Hulk run. It's amazing how good it is. Like, it's surprising just how much it hits. And, like, it didn't really age all that much either, other than, like, the Marvel thing where they, like, reference a movie or, like, a show that isn't really known today because of how old it is. The guy can still do that and still come off as timely. And it's pretty amazing. Like, all of his comics are very timeless. And they're really, really good. I don't know what else to say. Like, his Hulk run is just amazing. So I guess I could, like, review a little bit of it. It's just really good. The first arc of his Hulk run is how we got Joe Fixit, the Grey Hulk. Originally, we all knew that the Hulk was gray, but he was the one who created, like, the personality and, like, the stories that made the Grey Hulk so cool. Like, he made him, like, really charismatic, but also not, like, the good Hulk that we all know and love. He has a bit of an edge to him that, you don't really see in, like, the Green Hulk, and I think that's really fucking cool. Also, he brought back the leader and was the one who gave him the weird ass head from the 90s that we all kind of wish wasn't really there. I mean, I get what he was going for, but it is a bit weird. It's also where we got, like, Gangster Hawk. It's how we got Hawk in a fucking pinstripe suit. He also created, like, Margot Lane, the wife of Rick Jones, the Hawk's best friend, so that's pretty cool. Also, the reason why Betty died as well, that's a whole other thing, but, like, Betty died, and we all know what happened after that. There was, like, a whole complex things that brought her back, but yeah, he was also the reason why Betty died and whatnot. And, it was just a lot of cool stuff. This run is just absolutely fantastic, and I really recommend it to anybody who wants to get into Hulk comics. Just start with this run. It is a bit confusing when it starts off because it literally comes off at the events of, like, the last run, because after Bill Mantlo, they got a couple guys to write for Hulk until Peter David took over the reins for the main writer of the Hulk. But genuinely, if you want to read Hulk comics, just look up a Wikipedia, read just what happened beforehand, and then just get straight into this Hulk run. It's super available. It's still on Amazon. You can still buy it, all 4 volumes. Well, technically 5 volumes, but you can still buy it. And they're not that expensive, I would say. I mean, they're pretty expensive, but still, they're really good. They're pretty thick volumes, so they're really heavy reads. So, if you have if you have some time off, you could just kill some time with reading the comics because they're really fucking good, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, his Hulk, genuinely amazing. Of course, we gotta talk about Spider-Man 2099. Without Spider-Man 2099, we probably wouldn't have characters like Miles Morales or basically any other Spider-Man variant ever, because he was the one who wasn't a Peter Parker variant that became really popular. In fact, he was, once again, it shows that how popular Spider-Man is, because he basically became the face of 2099. And yeah, when people think Marvel 2099, they think of Spider-Man now these days because of his run. The thing is like, his run wasn't even the most well-loved run, but, because it's Spider-Man, people will definitely read it, and he was possibly the most memorable character. Once again, he knew how to write characters. Instead of, making him the wisecracking, superhero that we all know, instead he made him more of, like, a bit of an asshole sort of character. He wasn't as likable as Peter Parker. And he was typically more serious in the suit than when he was out of the suit. In fact, Miguel was more sarcastic and jokey outside of the suit, but once he was Spider-Man, he's all fucking game. He's all serious. He's about to, he's about to kick your ass afterwards. And yeah, the run was really good. Apparently, I never read the original Spider-Man 2099 run. I just never got into it just yet. But I have read his, follow-up series, especially the one in 2015, and I thought that was really good. Yeah, By the way, he got to write Spider-Man 2099 again once they brought him back during the Superior Spider-Man run, and he wrote him like in 2013, 2015, up to like 2016, 2017. And it was a pretty good run. It was really fun. It was one of the more better runs of the all-new, all-different lineup of Marvel Comics that came out 2015, 2016. And I liked it a lot. I liked a lot of the humor. I liked the action, and the art was pretty good too. So yeah. Shorter video today because I really just wanted to make something for Peter David, because without him we wouldn't have a lot of comics that we know of today. We wouldn't have a lot of characters that we know of today, and he's a pretty big inspiration for me. So yeah, that's all I had to say. New video out some other time, I guess. I'll have to see, but like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you like, what you dislike, and I'll see you next time.